Today, we are back at my friend's garage at an undisclosed location to feature his 1961 Chevy Corvette. If you're watching this, thank you so much for letting us feature your amazing car on this channel. But before getting into all of it, I am Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. This channel, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that are off the beaten path. We dive in deep, we give specs, period correct ads, as well as perceptions and perspectives that other channels simply don't show. If that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Let's talk 1961 Chevy model lineup. Chevy offered the Corvette, which was a whole line of cars. You could get it in a two-door, four-door wagon, ramp-side truck, Greenbrier van. Full-size cars came in 3 trim levels. Biscayne at the bottom, Bel Air in the center, Impala was at the top. Wagons could be had in Parkwood, Brookwood, or Nomad, as well as Corvair. It's also important to note that they did offer the Suburban and the El Camino for other shoppers that were looking for something totally different than your average run-of-the-mill. And then there was the Corvette. 1961 Corvette falls in the C1 category. I know, it wasn't called C1. It's referred to C1 later on, but better yet, let's just call it first generation Corvette. Chevy introduced the Corvette back in 1953. This was an evolution of that design. Chevy produced the first generation Corvette from 1953 to 1962. Chevy would go on to produce the Corvette in 8 generations. We are up at generation 8 now. C8 is the newest generation. But getting back to the C1, or first generation, I should say, designed by Duke Harley Earl. So let me clarify that a little bit. Harley Earl designed the 53 body style, which this was an evolution of. Bill Mitchell, Harley Earl actually retired. Bill Mitchell took over. Mitchell added the ducktail rear end to this car. 1961 got an all-new rear design dubbed the ducktail. 1961 was also the final year for the two-tone paint until the late 1970s, as well as white wall tires. Let's talk specs. 177.2 inches long, 72.8 inches wide, 51.6 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 102 inches, weighs 3,035 pounds. Total 1961 Chevy production was 1,318,014 units, of which 10,939 were Corvettes. Price, $3,934, which is equivalent to you spending $38,967.78 a year 2022. NADA, if you were to go buy one now, says the low value, like low as being like covered in dust, probably have to clean it off, $41,900, and the highest, like Concorde's condition, I'm talking showstopper, you could see it at Pebble Beach, $110,700 for this car. And the reason I'm going to start doing this is because if you paid $38,967.78 in the year 1961 and kept it, it's worth more money now than it was when it was new. So, what did all of that money buy you in 1961? Standard features included, but not limited to, wipers, windshield washers, sun visors, parking brake warning light, options, heater, Wonder Bar radio, pause traction, electric windows, power top, 4-speed standard shift transmission. It's very interesting to point out that Corvette did not offer power brakes, power steering, or air conditioning. Moving on to engines. First engine on offer, 283 cubic inch displacement V8, 4.6 liters. It makes 230 horsepower at 4,800 RPM, 300 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000 RPM, with a bore of 3.9 inches and a stroke of 3 inches. Compression is 9.5 to 1 with 5 main bearings. Block materials made out of cast iron. Moving up the scale, 283 cubic inch displacement V8, 4.6 liters, 245 horsepower. Bore, stroke, and everything else is the same. Moving up to another 283 cubic inch displacement V8, 4.6 liters, 270 horsepower. Moving up to another 2.3 cubic inch displacement V8 4.6 liters, 275 horsepower. Another 283 with 315 horsepower. This one was fuel injected. Moving on to transmissions. 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual, or the 2-speed Power Glide automatic. Let's talk about this door panel. Look at all the materials used. This looks like it's the door lock. Got reflectors so people can see you if you're on the street and your door is open. Nice chrome panel that comes over here and it swoops up around. Armrest, door handle to pull the door shut. This is the door handle to get out. This is the window crank for the big window, and this is how it operates. So that's what the window looks like. Notice the pillar here, it's just to catch the window. It's all trimmed out around the window, looks really nice. Just take a look at this door sill. Notice it's wider here than it is over here. Coming down inside the pedal box, high beam switch up there, clutch, brake, gas pedal, parking brake, hood release. I just wanted to show you, this is as wide as the door opens. It won't go, that is as wide as the door opens. It doesn't go any wider than that. So getting inside, on to the button switches and knobs, starting all the way to the left and moving right. Fuel gauge. Just below the fuel gauge are for the headlights. Right next to it for water temperature, just below that is for the wipers. The button in the center activates the windshield washer feature. The speedometer is large, an in-your-face gauge, but it sort of sits in the background. Highest trackable top speed is 160 miles per hour. The car might go faster, but the speedometer will only track it to 160 miles per hour. Odometer in the center, tachometer in the center, battery, ignition switch is located just below that, oil pressure, just below that, the cigarette lighter. So here's what over the hood impression looks like. Here's what first person looks like. And here's how much room I have underneath the steering wheel. It's adequate. There's enough room to do this with your hand. I love the rear view mirror on the dashboard. I've heard other people say that they don't like that because it's hard to see out of it, but I don't know if it would work right up here. It looks really nice there and elegant. Here's what the horn sounds like. Corvettes have this tray. I thought the tray was the glove box. Turns out that the glove box is actually over here. Camera won't fit in here, I don't believe, but that's where the glove box is, and it's lockable. This is where the convertible top goes. This pops the back and it flips up, and that's where the convertible top lives. This is what I look like. I got all kinds of headroom because it's a convertible and we have the top off. Coming over here, you got an aftermarket radio. This is for defrost, pull out for defrost, and then there's fan speeds low and high. This is an air control, temperature, clock. This one's got a 4-speed. Here's the shift pattern. Here's an ashtray. Right, getting underneath the hood, just come down inside here and pull the hood release, which is kind of hard to get to. With this being a fiberglass hood, it's always important to grab it in the center, or as close to the center as you possibly can. Pull it all the way up, and then it's going to come past the latch point. Right there's the latch point, and then come back down. So there it is. Check that out. That generator is absolutely massive. Here's my hand for reference. On to the pros and cons. I'm getting all of these pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars, blue chip, auto investments, 70 years, 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth in the Auto Editors of Consumer Guide. On the positives, neat rear end styling, performance boost on the 62s, last year of the first gen design. Cons, fuel thirst, same bulky frontal look. All right, now it's on to Name That Tune. I'm looking for the correct name of the band as well as song title. First person to give me both correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. I appreciate all of the support. Until next time, toodaloo!